Good morning and welcome to this week's assembly. It's all about making mistakes, but probably more importantly, how do we learn from those mistakes that we do make? So why do these mistakes happen in life? It's possibly down to forgetfulness. Forgetting to do something is quite common. Possibly through thoughtlessness, not considering others and being selfish. And through trusting others. We can trust others who sometimes let us down. Sometimes things go wrong for us even when we are trying our best. How often do we make these mistakes? And remember, everyone's not perfect. And these mistakes can happen to anybody. But it's most importantly is how do we handle these mistakes? Do we trust others to help us through our mistakes that we do make? I want to tell you the story now of one of my sporting heroes from about 25 years ago. This is a photograph of an American road cyclist called Lance Armstrong. He's probably actually more famous for making one great big mistake in his life, rather than the fact that he won 7 Tour de France titles from 1999 to 2005. He won regard as a sports icon for his 7 consecutive Tour de France title wins, the most in the event's history. However, Armstrong's reputation was tarnished by a doping scandal, and he was stripped of all his achievements from August 1998 onwards, including his 7 titles in France. He started racing at the age of 16, competing as a triathlete, and was a national sprint course triathlon champion for a number of years during his later teens. He then became a professional cyclist in 1990, winning again a large number of races. He was also very important because he was an American competing in a sport mainly dominated by Europeans. Here is a short video of Lance Armstrong in action. He was regarded as the best cyclist ever. He was equivalent to the Michael Jordan of basketball and Messi of football. He was fast on the flat sections and absolutely fearless when attacking people on the steepest mountains imaginable. He was also a very humble guy, a very polite person, a totally nice guy to be around with. At the age of 25, in 1996, Armstrong was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. The cancer had spread to his lymph nodes, lungs, brains and his abdomen. His surgeon said his chances of survival were almost none. He was told that he had 20 to 50% chance of survival, mainly to give him hope, but the kind of cancer he had, the x-rays, the blood tests, hope was almost zero. He finished the cancer treatment in December 1996, and in January 1997 he started training again for cycling, and 2 months later he was riding up to 65-70 miles at a time in training with his teammates in America. In February 1997 he was declared cancer free, and at that time of his life he thought he wanted to get back into cycling again proper. He signed up for a racing team in the United States, earning a salary of $200,000 a year. 1 year after beating cancer, he beat everybody else in the Tour de France and won the first of his 7 consecutive titles in the race. He became a superstar on an unprecedented scale. As we said earlier, normally Europeans dominate road cycling, but Armstrong becomes incredibly rich as being the only American to win the Tour de France at this stage. Despite all of his fame and fortune, Lance was a very humble guy. He even started the Live Strong Foundation. The foundation provided information about cancer and funds research and treatment for people suffering from cancer. He threw himself into helping for others, visiting people in hospital wards, leading seminars and giving hope to millions of people around the world. But people are always questioning why he won these races. How come he won 7 Tour de France races, especially after such an aggressive fight with cancer? There was always this cloud around him that he was actually cheating by taking performance enhancing drugs. But because he was a thoroughly nice person, or that was the way it seemed to be, most people seem to think he got to where he was through sheer hard work. And in fact, in 2001, he said the simple truth is we outwork everyone. But when you perform at a high level in a race, you get questions about doping. There were still a lot of people thinking he was cheating, and he was got to where he was in racing through taking performance enhancing drugs. 4 years later, he was quoted as saying, "How many times do I have to say it? Well, I can't be any clearer that I've never ever taken any performance enhancing drugs." And remember, this was after his 7th consecutive Tour de France win. He even went on to say that he would never take drugs due to his cancer. He says, "I've been on my deathbed. I'm not stupid. I can emphatically say I'm not on drugs." His Live Strong Foundation raised over £300 million. He set himself up almost as a saint-like persona of good, triumphing through hard work and determination. After over 500 drug tests, Lance tested positive for a range of performance-enhancing drugs. However, with the allegations closing on him, Lance decides to come clean on the biggest chat show in America, the Oprah Winfrey Show. Of continued doping, lies and deceit. This included the widest range of performance-enhancing drugs such as EPO, steroids and blood transfers. He never actually tested positive at all. His drug taking was so advanced nobody could catch him. He admitted to bullying people in his team to lie for him, to cover up for his mistakes. He did everything to continue to cover up his lies, including using his cancer as an excuse. And having had chemotherapy, there is no way I'd put that rubbish into my body. But even on the Oprah Winfrey Show, he didn't actually say he was cheating. He was just saying he was taking these performance-enhancing drugs just because everybody else was doing so. So why did he lie? So he could blame other people? No one would like him if they knew he was a cheat. He would stop winning. There's probably quite a few reasons why he did it, but probably those are the 3 most important things. Lance Armstrong failed to take any responsibility for his actions. He made some terrible mistakes. Listed on the screen there you can see some of them. He took these performance-enhancing drugs. He bullied his teammates into lying for him. He even used his cancer to act as a cover for his lies. And he also used the excuse that everybody else was taking the drugs, so he might as well. Thinking back to what I said at the very start of this assembly, do you take responsibility for your actions? When you make a mistake, which are an essential part of life, of being a young adult, do you take responsibility? Or do you lie? Do you blame others for your mistakes? We've been in school for just 10 days and I've heard these 3 things being said. It wasn't just me messing around, she was doing it too. It wasn't just me talking, why do you always blame me? I thought I would fit in, my mates would find it funny if I did it. But how often do you learn from your mistakes? Have a look at these 2 quotes below. Three more quotes there for you to read. I particularly like the one in the middle. And what must come after a mistake? And finally, Lance says, I was immature, wrapped up in my own importance and my own lies. What I've done, I've let everyone else down. It was my fault, no one else. I messed up. I am sorry.